She's at a place in her life where peace is a priority and negativity cannot exist. She's no longer matching energy. She's simply removing herself from any situation that doesn't vibrate her soul. So if you start moving funny, she's moving on. She's at this stage where all she wants to do is pray, focus, manifest, and hustle. So she's releasing negative energy and welcoming peace. She's no longer easily accessible. She's in her own lane, and there's no speed limit or traffic to slow her down.
The body believed to be that of popular social media influencer Anika Townsend, popularly known as Slickiana, was fished from the sea off the shores of a bathing beach in Reading, St. James this morning.
On the morning of October 21st, 2022, the beach at Reading, St. James, was just beginning to stir. The kind of quiet morning that Montego Bay is known for, locals moving slowly, the water calm. But what beachgoers spotted that morning was not calm. Floating face down in the surf was the semi-naked body of a woman. A bloody towel and a wig lay nearby. The Marine police were called. They pulled her from the water and found slashes to her head and neck. It would take investigators days to fully process what happened, but it would not take long for the world to learn who she was. Her name was Anika Townsend. She was 35 years old, a mother, a businesswoman, a Jamaican Instagram influencer with over 300,000 followers who knew her as Slickiana or Kian. She owned 2 businesses, held brand ambassador deals, and had built a life that hundreds of thousands of people watched and admired. And just 3 days before her body was found in that ocean on October 18th, 2022, she had posted what would become her final TikTok video. In it, she was celebrating. She had just bought a new house. She captioned it with 2 words that now carry a weight that is almost unbearable to sit with: new beginning. So, how did a woman on the rise, a woman celebrating a new chapter, end up dead in the waters off St. James just 72 hours later? Who was with her that night? And why had the system that was supposed to protect people from this man already failed more than once before? Stay with us, because this story deserves to be told in full.
She's at a place in her life where peace is a priority and negativity cannot exist. She's no longer matching energy. She's simply removing herself from any situation that doesn't vibrate her soul. So if you start moving funny, she's moving on. She's at this stage where all she wants to do is pray, focus, manifest, and hustle. So she's releasing negative energy and welcoming peace. She's no longer easily accessible. She's in her own lane, and there's no speed limit or traffic to slow her down.
This is the story of Anika Townsend, aged 35, a popular Instagram influencer, whose decomposing body was found and retrieved from the ocean. She was found floating in the water off Reading, St. Andrew Parish, Montego Bay, Jamaica one early morning in October. She had been strangled and shot in the head by some dude she met earlier named Rushane Patterson. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories.
The body believed to be that of popular social media influencer Anika Townsend, popularly known as Slickiana, was fished from the sea off the shores of a bathing beach in Reading, St. James this morning.
This story will be taking us to Montego Bay, Jamaica. The city is known for its beautiful beaches, notably Doctor's Cave Beach, in addition to outdoor attractions like gardens, golf courses and adventure tours. Part of Live and Let Die in the James Bond movie franchise was shot in Montego Bay. Also is the legend Bob Marley, born and buried at 9 Mile. Annika Townsend was a mother to a young boy who she adored and loved dearly. Unfortunately, he would be without a mother for the rest of his life. Annika, sometimes known as Cayenne or Slickiana, was an influential person from Jamaica. With over 300,000 Instagram followers, she is a female fashionista and social media influencer. Annika Townsend, a businesswoman, owns Slick Sesha and Slickiana 876. She represented the brands of Thelish Spaja, Havendale Healthcare, Jackanalife, and Brits Nails Limited as a brand ambassador. In her final TikTok video from October 18th with 165,000 views, Annika can be seen holding the keys to her new house along with the caption, "New Beginning." Sometimes last October, Annika Slickiana Townsend's body was discovered by the seaside close to Reading, St. James. Beachgoers found the 35-year lifeless old's body lying in the surf near Reading, St. Andrew Parish. Witnesses informed officers of the horrible discovery, and the Marine Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force was brought into aid in pulling her body from the ocean. Annika's body was found with a head injury, possibly caused by a gunshot. However, no official cause of death has been announced yet. She had slashes to her head and neck and was in a semi-naked position when she was pulled out of the ocean. Police since had a press release and also named Rushane Chizzy Patterson as a person of interest in the slaying.
The body believed to be that of popular social media influencer Annika Townsend, popularly known as Slickiana, was fished from the sea off the shores of a bathing beach in Reading, St. James this morning. Investigations revealed that the body had what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the back of the head. Reports are that about 9:30 a.m., a resident discovered the body floating face down in the water and summoned the police. Upon arrival, the police were forced to seek assistance from the Marine Police to remove the body from the water. A towel covered in blood and a female wig were also removed from the scene. An investigation has been launched by the Anchovy Police into the latest incident. The police have once again renewed their call for the person of interest in connection with the death of 35-year-old social media influencer Annika Slickiana Townsend to turn himself in. Rushane Patterson, whom the police say they believe can assist them greatly with their investigations into the death of Ms. Townsend, had not made himself available. Patterson was given a deadline of 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Up to news time this evening, there has not been any report that he has complied with the order from the police. Senior police investigators probing the case say that based on preliminary investigations, the deceased woman was last seen alive in the company of Patterson at a popular restaurant in Hanover. The lawmen, while quick to point out that Patterson is just wanted for questioning at this time, explained that he is no stranger to the police given his history. The police explained that despite the plethora of charges, Rushane Patterson was only convicted for wounding with intent, a charge that had been scaled down from attempted murder and was given a suspended sentence. Patterson was also allegedly charged with abducting and raping a woman as well as killing her partner in 2013. He was freed when he appeared before the St. Andrew Parish Court. It is further reported that the judge threw out the case against Patterson after prosecutors conceded that they could not find the primary witness. Patterson is being asked to turn himself over to the Freetown police station immediately.
Patterson, the man named as a person of interest in the death of Anika Townsend, was charged today. Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Clifford Chambers, commander of the Area 1 Police Division, said that Patterson, who was picked up in Hanover sometime after 1 a.m. by an Area 1 operational team this morning, was charged following a question and answer session in the presence of an attorney. ACP Chambers also said that the operation was executed late last night into the wee hours of this morning at the Palm Tree Guest House in Green Island, and it was executed by members of the Area 1 team.
Rashawn Patterson, otherwise called Chizzy, who is of a Harvey River, Hanover address, with the murder of 35-year-old social media influencer Anika Townsend, otherwise called Kean or Slickiana. Miss Townsend's body was retrieved by the Marine Police in the waters in the Reading area of the parish of St. James on the morning of Friday, October 21st, 2022. A post-mortem examination that was conducted on her body on November 5th concluded that her death was caused by strangulation. The post-mortem estimates that Miss Townsend was killed at some time between the hours of 11 p.m. Thursday, October 20th and 9 a.m. October 21st. The facts are that on Thursday, October 20th, Miss Townsend traveled from Kingston to Montego Bay, where she was picked up by Patterson at approximately 7:30 p.m. During the course of the evening, they visited a restaurant in Hanover and a guest house in St. James. At some point in the night, an argument developed between them, which resulted in Miss Townsend being strangled by Patterson and her body disposed. Investigations are ongoing as it is suspected that Mr. Patterson may have been involved in other incidents similar to those for which he has been charged. As a result, detectives are appealing to the public for any information that may assist.
Such that moment, I hope I don't get tearful. I knew Anika personally, and she's such a bubbly person. Anybody who says they have a thing with Anika, if you and I have something, she just dismiss it, never in confrontation. And for someone to hurt her like that, it really hurt me. She didn't deserve it, regardless of what people are saying. No one deserves this. No one. No one deserved that. No one. The man you said his father died, and no one, because no one loves your father. People love Anika, so everyone is going to cheer for her. And you know, I don't understand it, but God is in the midst of everything. And
To a primetime news follow-up now. The owner of the guest house where the person of interest in the death of social media influencer Anika Townsend was found says he didn't know the man was at the facility. Rashawn Patterson was held after police raided the Hanover-based guest house. Jamila Maitland has the details.
It was the loud shouts of police and flashing blue lights outside the gates of the Palm Tree Guest House in Green Island, Hanover, sometime after 12:30 a.m. Wednesday that made it clear to the owner that something was not right. But according to him, he wasn't prepared for what he was about to witness. The person of interest in the death of social media influencer, 35-year-old Anika Townsend, Rashawn Patterson, was staying in one of the rooms. The owner, Peter Irving, who declined to speak on camera, told us that he had never seen the tall, muscular, fair-skinned man who was being taken out of the room in handcuffs by the police before. He didn't resist. There was no scuffle, no excitement, said the owner. According to the management of Palm Tree Guest House, Patterson had been staying at the facility since last week. However, he was not the person who booked the room, nor was his name on the visitors list. Another man paid for the space. None of the staff knew when he arrived on the compound. No one really saw who was staying there. The Do Not Disturb card was placed on the door at all times. They didn't want any service, revealed the owner. When asked whether that was unusual, the man who's been managing the facility for 20 years says people have different preferences and sometimes they're seeking privacy. The rooms are self-contained suites. It has its own kitchen, bathroom, and living space. Guests can bring their own food and eat at nearby restaurants, but as I said, he did not come outside, explained the owner as he distanced himself from the situation. He explained that this has never happened at his facility before. Patterson's arrest comes just hours after ACP Fitz Bailey announced that he would be turning himself into the police on Thursday.
We are actively pursuing the matter. In fact, I can say this publicly that an attorney reached out to me and indicated that he will take him in on Thursday of this week.
Rashane Patterson, who is from Hanover, was asked to report to the Freeport Police Station in St. James just a day after Townsend's body was found in waters along the Reddings Beach area in the parish on October 21. He's expected to be questioned by the police about the social media influencer's death. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
By November 2nd, 2022, police had a name: Rashane Patterson, known on the streets as Chizzy. He was arrested through an intelligence operation and formally charged with the murder of Annika Townsend. Here's what the evidence showed. On the evening of October 20th, 2022, Annika had traveled from Kingston to Montego Bay. Rashane Patterson picked her up around 7:30 that evening. The two visited a restaurant in Hanover, then checked into a guest house in St. James. At some point during that night, an argument broke out, and Annika Townsend never left that guest house alive. Patterson strangled her and dumped her body into the ocean, the same ocean where beachgoers would find her the following morning. A post-mortem carried out on November 5th confirmed it. Cause of death: strangulation. Time of death: somewhere between 11 p.m. on October 20th and 9 a.m. on October 21st. The timeline matched. The evidence pointed directly at Patterson. But here's the part of the story that demands we pause and pay attention, because Rashane Patterson was not an unknown. He was not someone the system was meeting for the first time. In 2014, he had faced charges of sexual assault and murder. That case was dismissed. Before that, he had faced an attempted murder charge, which was scaled down to wounding and resulted in nothing more than a suspended sentence. And in 2018, he was charged with abducting and assaulting an ex-girlfriend. 3 separate encounters with the justice system. 3 times he walked. And on the night of October 20th, 2022, Annika Townsend paid the price for every one of those failures. He was granted 500,000 Jamaican dollars bail and was scheduled to stand trial on March 6th, 2023. Annika left behind a young son. She left behind 2 businesses she had built from the ground up. She left behind over 300,000 people who would follow her journey, who had watched her celebrate that new house, that new chapter, those 2 words, new beginning. She deserved that beginning. She deserved to watch her son grow up in that new house. She deserved to keep building the life she had worked so hard for. What her story leaves behind, beyond the grief, beyond the outrage, is a question every one of us should be sitting with. How many times does a man have to show us exactly who he is before the system takes it seriously? How many women have to be failed before the pattern is treated as the emergency that it is? Annika Townsend was not just a victim. She was Slickiana. She was Kian. She was a mother, a brand, a builder, a woman who posted a celebration video 3 days before her life was taken. Remember her name, not just for the way she died, but for the life she was living. If this story moved you, share it. Let more people know who Annika Townsend was. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What do you think justice truly looks like for Annika and her son? I read every single comment, and I want to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next one.